Just thinking about sex, pleasures of the flesh, carnal knowledge, the marital arts of lovemaking, doing the funky wild thing. Well, according to some research, I'm not alone. Men apparently think about sex about every 7 seconds on average, and women only slightly less than that. Sounds exhausting. But perhaps it's little wonder we live in such a sexually saturated society. It's in films, TV, magazines, and I'm not just talking about the X-rated stuff, it's everywhere. There's sex on the news, sex in the newspapers. You can be minding your own business, driving down the road, and bam, sex on a billboard. Sounds dangerous. But should we be shocked and appalled by this? I mean, sex is pretty normal. It's something that normal people do, though not usually on billboards. Not wanting to shock you, but it's quite likely that even your parents had sex at least once, or we wouldn't be having this conversation. It's just not something we tend to talk about much, particularly in Christian circles, except perhaps to comment on what other people shouldn't be doing. All this tut-tutting and finger-pointing, you'd be forgiven for thinking that Christians thought that sex was a terrible idea and should be banned. Sex is an evil temptation from the devil. It could even lead to dancing. So why is that, do you think? I mean, God made us male and female, sexual beings with sexual desires and sexual organs, and the imagination to figure out what to do with them. And often it can be a very positive experience. And just thinking about how we define our sexuality, more than just about gender preferences and lifestyle, is it defined by what we do, our sexual activities, or does it measure a deeper sense of who we are? Is sex just a private thing that happens behind closed doors between consenting adults? Or are there broader moral issues? And is some sexual activity immoral or wrong? What if we aren't sexually active, either through choice or circumstances? Does that mean that in some way we're not complete? Is not expressing your sexuality somehow repressive or unnatural? I know that for some this may seem weird, embarrassing, or even inappropriate to talk about. But just thinking, as Christians, can we talk positively about sex and sexuality while still maintaining modesty and decency?